you know of this defense, where are you looking to line?
Probably at the will linebacker position. But I basically want to just learn all three linebacker positions just to be, versatile. Wherever the coach needs me to play, I can move around. So I'm just trying to study all three positions.
A little more free at the will for you than what you were used to?
Well, Greg he's a very aggressive guy. So I think he's going to have us flying around. We got some good defensive linemen in front of us. So as a linebacker, you really like that when you have like Danny, in front of you. Then you got Myles, Garrett, and a bunch of those guys. I can name a lot, but whenever you got a good defensive line like that, it helps free the linebackers up.
Do you guys feel like you can significantly turn around this defense in 2017 by the addition
For sure,
of May?
for sure. There's no doubt in my mind that with the help of these draft picks that we got, we definitely can get it turned around. The guys have been working hard this whole spring. You just see, how attentive guys are in the classroom, how hard they're working on the field. So I feel good about this group of men, and I know we'll turn this defense around.
What did you learn about Myles so far? What do you think?
I mean, he's a workaholic, man. He's one of the, when the rookies was on the field doing their practices, he was one of the last rookies to lead the field. It just goes to show you what type of guy he is. He's always working. He's always trying to improve. And, he's not all into the hype of being the first-round pick. He comes in every day, with his head down, just grinding and working. So that's something that, is very pleasing to see.
Is that something that's a little surprising that, the number one pick in the draft kind of comes in and everyone talks about just how quiet he is and that and doesn't have that, I guess, the big ego that maybe sometimes you would perceive a number one pick in the draft to have?
Yeah, Myles, he's a humble guy. And, whenever you have a guy that, just shows out on the field, he doesn't do too much off the field as far as like being flashy or, like you said, have that big ego. That definitely shows his character. And, I just can't wait to see him, strap up and getting those pads and, getting those brown and orange colors and just go out there and play for the dog pound. So I think he'll do a tremendous job for us. Just, the couple of days been around him and meeting him. So he's definitely a good guy.
What are your feelings about moving outside after having a pretty strong year inside last year?
I played outside in college, so I'm pretty familiar with playing outside. And last year, playing inside was a big year for me. I think I took some strides forward, but I'm adapting to any position they want to play me at. So I don't think I'm too frustrated or thinking about going from outside to inside. A linebacker is a linebacker. You're going to be in the act. You're going to be, in a lot of positions to make a lot of plays. So, and I know Greg, he knows what he's doing on his defense. He knows the best spot to put me. So, I'll be ready to just play wherever you want me to play.
Chris, every time we talk to Sash or they say, well, we got to get Chris secured to a long-term deal. I mean, they bring it up by themselves. First, how does that make you feel that they want you to be part of the long-term future? And you guys close? Have you talked about getting the deal done?
It definitely feels good to know that they want me here. And this organization, it's been great to me. They really care about me as a person and definitely as a player. So it definitely feels good to, hear them talk about things like that. I really don't feel comfortable talking about contract things right now. All I'm doing is just, working out, trying to get the season to be the type of season we want.
You want to be here, though?
Yeah. I love Cleveland. Cleveland is a good city.
How different are meetings? And I know you're going to get on the field tomorrow, but how different is the atmosphere with Greg Williams?
It's Greg. He's the type of guy. He has a lot of energy. He speaks his mind. He allows us to speak our minds. He comes to you correct, with respect. But at the same time, he's a hype guy. And I like guys like that. He kind of reminds me of my college defensive coordinator, Phil Parker. The guys with high energy, and they demand greatness and expect the best out of you. So in the meeting room, everybody's attentive. He challenges you to see what you know. He kind of makes you uncomfortable to be, up in front of everybody. Just forcing you to, bring out the personality, forcing you to really get into the game plan and get into the game. So, Greg, it's been an exciting trip so far. I want to see how he is in you know, when we put the pads on, or you know, when we go out there and actually practice. But you know, I heard good things about him because I had friends that, you know, played with him. So you know, I'm ready to get this thing rocking.